I'm using a 7 round liner with Cheyenne Thunder at 11 hertz. Now, as I'm doing a fine work, I could have used 5 liner or a 3 liner, but somehow I try to avoid them. Instead, I use 7 round liner for most of the fine work I do. It's not like I don't use 5 liner or 3 liner, but I try to avoid them. The reason is that the lines which I get or the texture which I get with 3 liner and 5 liner, I mean, it doesn't have a longer life. If I'm working with line work, if I'm doing lines with 3 liner, I'm not very sure that how it's gonna turn out to be. Sometimes it will smudge out unevenly, sometimes it will wear off with time, which is not really great. It's just my experience. I'm sharing my perspective. I might not be handling the needle properly, but it's just my experience. I avoid it and use 7 round liner instead whenever I can. And also I have found the healed result of the 7 liner is far better than 5 and 3. But as I said, it's just my perspective and the way I work. There is a negative space here, the glow in the eyes in the reference, as you can see, which I have to leave it like an empty space. So I have to be very careful, as a small mistake in this will pop out once the tattoo is done. So I cannot manage to do even a small mistake here, because I'm working on the most important part, that is eyes, and it has a glow or a negative space, and it will pop out. Any which ways the eyes are going to pop out once the tattoo is done. So I cannot afford to do anything wrong here. So that's the reason I have slowed down a little bit. I'm focusing more than before and being very careful so that nothing goes wrong from here. Also, take a closer look at this glow. It has a certain behavior. It is shining like a star, right? So what I mean to say is that it has those shining spines coming off at the certain angle. Now, it is really important that those angles match between the eyes, as well as it matches with the overall flow of the tattoos. There are a lot of negative spines which are flowing through the artwork. It has to follow the same angle, or it should look parallel to them. And if I miss that angle, even that will look like a mistake once the tattoo is done. I now got the magnum with the Cheyenne spirit at 11 hertz. I'll be mixing various techniques to get the desired output. I'll use a drag technique with pendulum to create smooth gradient. Now, to have that glow which I was talking about, that shine to pop out like a shining light, I need to have a really high contrast around it. That is, I'm going to do a good nice dark texturing and shading around it so that the light pops out. I recommend everyone to develop skills to use magnum needle as much as possible. When I started, I used to follow few artists, and they used to work with magnum to do almost 95% of the tattoo, and I used to wonder how do they do it, because I was really struggling with the magnum needles. I had no clue how to use it, and it was hard for me. But later, with practice, I started doing the same thing like them. I tattoo almost the entire tattoo with magnum, like 90-95% it's all magnum. And there are a couple of reasons that I prefer magnum, and so those artists as well, is because the healed result with the magnum is far better than any other needle you will ever use. It is not only the fastest way to work on a tattoo, but also the healed result you get is far better than anything else. Here I am using a pendulum shading technique with dilute inks. I am being very careful as I am working on the portrait, and as I said, I am going slow, I am more focused here. I'm doing the eyebrows using magnum, so just put your all focus into it. I mean, see what exactly I'm doing. I'm using a magnum in different angles, so wherever I need a thin line, I will carefully use the magnum sideways. So using the different angle of the magnum, you can actually decide the degree of softness and the area to be filled with it. So you want your texture to be crispier or blurrier? or you can say tighter or softer, you can actually achieve it by just changing the angle of the magnum. Like a flat surface will give you the soft shading, while the sideways will give you the sharp line, and anything between will give you different degrees of softness. And you can actually play with it. I mean, start using magnum as much as you can.